Have you ever walked into a room and felt invisible, while another person entered seconds later and instantly owned the space without saying a single word? No expensive clothes, no loud voice, no special title, yet somehow, everyone looked at them differently. Most people believe respect is earned through success. Machiavelli would disagree. He understood something darker. Status is not created in public. It is revealed in public. Every movement, every glance, every unnecessary word, every nervous habit. People are constantly collecting evidence about who you are. The terrifying part? Most of these judgments happen before you even realize you're being watched. You think people are busy with their own lives. They aren't. The human mind is built to rank people automatically. Within seconds, strangers decide whether you are powerful, harmless, useful, or forgettable. And once that label is placed on you, changing it becomes painfully difficult. This is why some people command respect without asking for it, while others spend their entire lives chasing approval they never receive. Machiavelli wrote that appearances often matter more than reality because people judge with their eyes long before they judge with reason. That means every public mistake you make silently lowers your perceived value. No announcement, no warning, no second chance. Today, you'll discover 10 public mistakes that instantly destroy your status without you realizing it. Some of these habits look completely harmless, yet they quietly tell everyone around you, "This person is beneath me." The worst part? Millions repeat these mistakes every single day, believing they're being friendly, confident, or authentic. They're actually giving away their power. Once you become aware of these invisible signals, you'll never look at public behavior the same way again. Let's begin. 1. Trying too hard to be liked. The average person enters every social interaction asking one silent question. Do they like me? Powerful people ask a different question. Should I like them? That tiny shift changes everything. Neediness has a smell. It cannot be hidden. People detect it through dozens of invisible behaviors. Laughing too hard at weak jokes. Agreeing with everything someone says. Constantly smiling without reason. Apologizing for existing. Seeking approval after every sentence. None of these actions scream weakness individually. Together, they create the image of someone desperate for acceptance. And desperation is the fastest way to lose status. Machiavelli understood that people naturally value what appears difficult to obtain. Think about luxury brands. Think about exclusive clubs. Think about rare opportunities. Scarcity creates value. The same law applies to human beings. If your attention is available to everyone, your value immediately drops. Notice the people everyone respects. They aren't rude. They aren't arrogant. But they never beg for affection. Their approval feels earned. That makes people chase it. Ironically, the harder you try to make everyone like you, the less they respect you. Respect grows from emotional independence. Approval seeking destroys it. The next time you're in a conversation, pay attention to how often you're trying to impress instead of simply observing. That single awareness changes your entire presence. Because confidence isn't proving your worth. It's behaving as if your worth doesn't require permission. 2. Talking more than necessary. Most people believe speaking more makes them appear intelligent. Machiavelli understood the opposite. The more information you reveal, the more opportunities you give others to judge you. Silence creates mystery. Mystery creates authority. Think about the most powerful person in a meeting. Usually, they're not the one speaking non-stop. They're the one listening, watching, calculating. When they finally speak, everyone pays attention. Why? Because rarity increases value. Constant talking signals something dangerous. Emotional impulsiveness. People who cannot control their words often cannot control their emotions. And people who cannot control themselves can never truly control situations. There's another hidden danger. The longer you speak, the greater the chance you'll say something unnecessary. Reveal insecurity, expose weakness, contradict yourself, or accidentally give someone information they can later use against you. Most conflicts begin because someone spoke one sentence too many. Silence prevents countless problems before they exist. This doesn't mean becoming socially awkward. It means becoming intentional. Instead of answering immediately, pause. Instead of filling every silence, own it. Instead of revealing everything about yourself, leave people curious. Curiosity is more powerful than explanation. The less predictable you become, the harder you are to manipulate. And people instinctively assign higher status to what they cannot completely figure out. The loudest person often controls the least. The quiet observer usually controls the room without anyone noticing. And that is exactly how real power prefers to move. 3. reacting to every little provocation. The easiest way to control someone is to control their emotions. Most people never realize they're being tested. Someone interrupts them, they immediately become defensive. Someone mocks them, they rush to explain themselves. Someone disrespects them, they explode in anger. At that moment, they believe they're showing strength. They're actually surrendering control, because the person who controls your emotions controls your behavior. Machiavelli knew emotional discipline was one of the greatest forms of power. An enemy wants your reaction more than your argument. Why? Because reactions reveal your weaknesses. Every angry outburst, every desperate explanation, every emotional defense gives people a map of exactly how to manipulate you. The strongest individuals understand something most never learn. Not every attack deserves a response. Sometimes silence creates more discomfort than the perfect comeback. Sometimes a calm smile destroys an insult faster than anger ever could. When people realize they cannot predict your emotional response, they become cautious around you, and cautious people naturally show more respect. Your emotions are valuable. Stop handing them to strangers for free, because the moment you react without thinking, you stop leading the situation and start following someone else's game. The next mistake is even more dangerous because almost everyone does it without noticing. 4. Seeking attention instead of presence. There are two kinds of people in every public place. The first group constantly asks to be noticed. They speak louder than everyone else. They interrupt conversations. They exaggerate stories. They force jokes into every silence. They dress only to shock. Everything they do screams one message: please look at me. For a moment, people do. But attention is not respect. Attention can be bought. Attention can be faked. Attention can even come from embarrassment. Presence is different. Presence doesn't beg for eyes. It attracts them. Machiavelli understood that power is most effective when it doesn't announce itself. The lion doesn't remind the jungle that it's dangerous. Its existence is enough. People with true status don't compete to become the center of every conversation. They become the center of gravity. Others naturally move toward them. Notice someone who carries real influence. They don't constantly check whether people are watching. They don't need validation after every sentence. Their confidence exists even when nobody applauds. The more you chase attention, the more people sense insecurity hiding beneath your confidence. But when you stop demanding recognition, recognition often comes on its own. The room notices those who are comfortable being unnoticed. Because comfort signals confidence, confidence signals strength, and strength attracts respect. 5. Explaining yourself too much. One of the quietest ways to destroy your status is by over-explaining. Someone questions your decision, you immediately begin defending it. Someone misunderstands you, you spend 10 minutes trying to clear your name. Someone doubts your abilities, you start listing your achievements. Without realizing it, you've handed them control. Every unnecessary explanation silently asks for permission to be believed. Power rarely asks for permission. Imagine two people. The first calmly says, "This is my decision." The second spends 5 minutes explaining why the decision makes sense. Who appears more certain? Usually the first. Not because they're always right, but because certainty influences perception. Machiavelli knew that people often mistake confidence for competence. When you constantly justify yourself, you communicate hidden doubt. It's as if you're saying, "I hope you'll approve." Of course, there are moments when explanation is necessary. But most people explain far beyond what the situation requires. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being disliked. They fear appearing wrong. Ironically, the more they explain, the less convincing they become. A calm answer carries more weight than a desperate speech. Learn to finish your sentence. Then stop. Silence often completes your message better than extra words ever could. 6. Looking everywhere except at people. Your eyes reveal your inner world before your mouth ever speaks. Watch someone with low confidence. Their eyes constantly escape. They look at the floor. They stare at their phone. They scan the room nervously. They avoid direct eye contact as if they're asking permission to exist. Most don't even realize they're doing it. But everyone else notices. Humans instinctively judge confidence through eye behavior. Predators don't constantly look away. Leaders don't fear eye contact. People with high status observe calmly. They don't stare aggressively. They don't challenge everyone with their eyes. They simply remain present, steady, aware, comfortable. Machiavelli believed appearances shape reality because people rarely know your true intentions. They judge what they can see. And uncertain eyes create uncertain impressions. This doesn't mean forcing uncomfortable eye contact. It means becoming comfortable with stillness. When someone speaks, actually look at them. When you enter a room, lift your head. When you're walking, stop acting like you're apologizing for taking up space. The world responds differently to people who appear comfortable in their own skin. Not because they demand respect, but because they quietly expect it. And expectation often becomes reality. The next mistake is one that destroys status faster than almost any other, because once people see it, they rarely forget it. 7. Trying to win every argument. Most people believe that winning an argument makes them look powerful. Machiavelli understood something far more dangerous. The person obsessed with proving they're right has already lost something far more valuable than the argument. They've lost control. Think about how arguments usually unfold. One person challenges your opinion. Your heartbeat rises. Your voice becomes sharper. You interrupt more often. You search desperately for facts that prove you're correct. Soon, the discussion is no longer about truth. It's about ego, and ego is the easiest weapon to use against someone. Wise people know that not every battle deserves a soldier. Sometimes people argue because they seek attention. Sometimes they argue because they enjoy conflict. Sometimes they argue simply to drain your energy. If you give every challenger your time, you quietly communicate that anyone can access your emotions. That lowers your value. High-status individuals choose their battles carefully. They understand that silence often frustrates an opponent more than victory ever could. Walking away from a pointless argument isn't weakness. It's discipline. A king doesn't leave his throne to fight every barking dog outside the castle. He remains focused on protecting the kingdom. The same principle applies to your mind. Protect your peace more than your pride. Because people remember composure long after they've forgotten who won the debate. 8. Constantly checking your phone. Look around any public place. Restaurants, train stations, gyms, waiting rooms. Almost everyone is staring at a screen. The moment silence appears, the phone comes out. The moment boredom arrives, the screen lights up. Without realizing it, people have trained themselves to escape the present. But there's another message this habit sends. It tells everyone around you that your attention is fragile. Attention is one of the rarest forms of power in today's world. Whoever controls your attention, controls your life. Machiavelli believed that control begins with self-control. If a small notification can steal your focus, how will you remain calm during real pressure? People notice this more than you think. Someone speaking to you while you repeatedly glance at your phone feels disrespected, even if you never intended it. A leader gives complete attention, not divided attention. Presence creates influence. Distraction destroys it. The next time you're waiting somewhere, resist the urge to unlock your phone. Observe people. Notice body language. Study conversations. Become comfortable with silence. Most people can't do this anymore. That alone separates you from the crowd. Because the rarest person today isn't the loudest. It's the one who remains fully present when everyone else is mentally somewhere else. 9. Laughing at everything to fit in. Laughter is powerful. It builds connection. It reduces tension. It creates trust. But forced laughter does something completely different. It announces insecurity. Have you ever seen someone laugh at every joke? Even the ones that weren't funny? Or agree with every opinion just to avoid standing out? They're not creating friendships. They're negotiating for acceptance. Machiavelli warned against becoming too eager to please others. Because once people know you'll do anything to belong, they stop respecting you. Your reactions lose authenticity. Your personality disappears. Soon, people don't remember who you are. They only remember how eager you were to be accepted. Real confidence allows disagreement. Real confidence doesn't fear awkward silence. Real confidence doesn't need to perform happiness every second. You don't have to laugh because everyone else is laughing. You don't have to agree because the majority agrees. Sometimes the strongest statement you can make is having no reaction at all. People respect those whose emotions appear genuine, not those who manufacture them for approval. The final mistake is the most damaging of all, because it silently destroys every ounce of status you've worked to build. And once this habit becomes part of your identity, escaping it becomes incredibly difficult. 10. Failing to respect yourself. Every mistake we've discussed begins with one invisible problem: a lack of self-respect. People often believe respect comes from others. Machiavelli understood the opposite. The world usually mirrors the standards you set for yourself. If you tolerate constant disrespect, others will assume it's acceptable. If you constantly break your own promises, others will struggle to trust your words. If you treat your own time as worthless, don't be surprised when everyone else wastes it too. Status is built long before you enter a public place. It is built in private. When you wake up without discipline. When you abandon your goals halfway through. When you choose comfort instead of growth. When you lie to yourself to avoid responsibility. Every private compromise quietly weakens your public presence. Because confidence cannot be faked forever. Eventually, your habits expose you. This is why truly powerful people don't rely on expensive clothes, luxury cars, or loud displays of success. Those things may attract attention, but they cannot create genuine authority. Authority comes from knowing that your actions match your words, that your emotions obey your mind, that your decisions are guided by principles instead of impulses. People can sense this. They may not understand why they respect someone, but they feel it, and feelings often shape reality more than facts. Machiavelli never suggested becoming cruel for the sake of power. He suggested becoming impossible to manipulate. That begins with mastering yourself before trying to influence others. The greatest victory isn't controlling people. It's reaching a point where no one can easily control you. Remember these 10 mistakes the next time you step into a room. Don't chase approval. Don't waste words. Don't react to every provocation. Don't beg for attention. Don't over-explain. Don't hide behind nervous eyes. Don't fight every battle. Don't become a prisoner of your phone. Don't fake your personality to fit in. And above all, never betray your own standards. Because the strongest people in the room are rarely the loudest. They're the ones whose calm presence makes everyone else think twice before speaking. Power doesn't announce itself. It reveals itself through discipline. Every room you enter is watching. The only question is, what story is your behavior telling before you ever say a single word? If you found this perspective valuable, subscribe for more lessons on power, strategy, and human nature inspired by Machiavelli and timeless psychology. Leave a comment telling me which of these 10 mistakes surprised you the most, and share this video with someone who unknowingly gives away their power in public. Remember, the world doesn't always reward the smartest person. It rewards the person who understands how people think.